Sometimes healing comes from places you might not expect, and from people who just may surprise you. I met Christopher Robin Hooliger in May of 2015. Christopher and a group of doctors had come up with a nano-sized cannabis oil that was having amazing healing effects. He himself was now cancer-free. He asked me to come aboard to direct, and of course I said yes.
They never roped a Ford before.
But little did I know about the wild ride I was about to take.
All right, 1.2 minutes. I guess I kind of need to explain myself. My name's Christopher Robin. I'm not a doctor as far as being a doctor in the eyes of the AMA. This may be a movie that we're making, but this is 100% real. There are no actors on this program. There's only real people. I was diagnosed with stage 4 lymphoma and pancreatic cancer in December and January of 2010 and 11, just a few years ago. I'm the first person to inject marijuana oil directly into a tumor body.
Yeah.
You know, but after what we've done now, I did that as whole molecules. That was whole molecules. That was not nano-sized. I only got into it because of the cancer. I mean, it was purely, I was trying to save my life. I wasn't trying to save anybody else's.
And what was going on with you at the time?
I had stage 4 lymphoma and stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And I was trying to get myself diagnosed for 2 years. You know, and they kept on just saying I had an infection, you have an infection, you have an infection. I started treating myself and with so many different conditions, and everything I did worked. And the doctors said, you know, go die. They're like, you have to go home and die. Yeah.
Was there a particular moment when you realized that, okay, this is it, I'm locked in, this is the long haul, there's no turning back?
Yeah. When my first patient told me that and she had stage 4 lung cancer, told me that she was expected to die in the next couple days. And and I held her and I cried on her and with her. And I gave her a shot. Actually, I gave her several shots, all in a 3-day period of time. And I watched the death in her, which was her skin was almost blue, you know, a gray-green tone, like no blood, you know, just start going away and coming alive, you know. So I experienced her healing as if it was healing me.
This is Carolyn Glasso Bailey, and I'm Chris Bailey. And Carolyn has had 3 brain tumor surgeries since September. She has glioblastoma multiforme. It's probably the worst of the worst brain cancer.
It is the worst of the worst, yes.
My name is Tambu. My real name is Hal Noble Ector, but I'm known as Tambu. They discovered that I had cancer, it said. And it had mitigated to my lungs, to my lymphatic glands, to my bones.
My name is Millie. I'm also known as Maha Lakshmi Devi. I was diagnosed the end of March with stage 4 cancer.
Have you had any kind of chemotherapy or anything?
No, but I did have nephrostomy tubes put in because there's a hole in my bladder. The cancer went from the cervix to the bladder.
I'm Ralph Wyman from Winchester, Kentucky. I still have arthritis all through my body. That's going to change because of the shot. This oil created by Christopher Holliger has created great relief in my life. No arthritic pain.
I'm Lisa Gollinger, and I'm from Ojai, California. I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. I was in the emergency room last Saturday, and I had swollen ankles, and I didn't know what was going on.
My name is Jeever. I have type 2 diabetes for quite some time now. And I started this pharmaceutical cannabis oil treatment 2 months ago. And I have wonderful results.
Well, good morning. We're here in Martinez for People versus Christopher Holliger. He's charged with something that happened over a year ago, and he's charged with possession for sale of marijuana, etc., etc. And so now we're in court this morning. We'll see what happens. It's an arraignment, and nothing amazing is going to happen, I hope. And then we'll go from there. After today, we'll know more about the case, and so get back with you.
Hey, what's up?
What's up?
Yeah.
Let's go to court.
Aren't your hands registered as weapons?
Well, I don't know about out here. They were in the military.
You're gonna have to leave your hands outside.
Oh. Damn. That sucks.
Oh.
Okay. I gotta get naked.
What happened?
Well, we just went to court and we waited a very long time because the prosecution couldn't find the paperwork to the complaint and discovery, but eventually they did. They're very nice about it, and we're coming back in a couple months for a setting of a preliminary examination date, and we'll have a lot of discovery to do and a lot of evidence to look at and a lot of things to do in the next 45 days, and that's the story, and I'm stuck with it. Lawyer said we better get the DA some bling before we come back to court, and now I'm gonna say something else. Let's get out of town.
We gotta get out of here, don't we?
We gotta get out of here, don't we?
We gotta run. We gotta run. We gotta run.
Keep running, boy. They're after you.
free being. I'm a free human being. I can do whatever I want, you know, as long as everything that I do is through love. I experience love when the people that are skeptical allow me to treat them. And then usually the next day they'll call me crying or or bubbly happy because they're out of pain. They've had pain all of their, some people for 20, 30 years, and they don't know what it is like to not be in pain. And for somebody to call you and break down and cry, right in front of me, in my arms. I've had so many people that have, shared their feelings with me. It's hard to do this because it's just not simple anymore, because all the people I've treated that have lived and all the people that I've treated that have died are all in my soul.
Okay, go ahead.
So, if you ever have a dendrite on your head?
No.
No. I was in love with Goodman and Gilman's pharmaceutical text and was a believer in the silver bullet. The silver bullet is you don't even take two drugs and put them into the same capsule because you can't regulate their independent concentrations. You have a fixed concentration, and Western medicine thought that was way just too much control to let go of. And so they embedded in every physician that you a single molecule, a single effect. And so this whole idea that this plant is useful for a lot of things is incompatible with the basic tenet of Western medicine, which is the silver bullet approach. And so back in probably 2004 and up into 2005, a physician that I had trained with, we spent years together in medical school, moved out to California. He went south, I went north. Eventually he migrated up to Northern California, asked if I would approve of his use of cannabis, and I didn't know why he would ask that, because I just couldn't imagine that it could have anything over the full range of pharmaceutical drugs. You want instant painkillers, we can do that. You want anti-inflammatories, we can do that. And I was full blown. I'm fine with the psychoactive, I'm fine with the commercial, but I didn't want to get my license involved in the commercial production or something, so I declined to approve of his use. But he was so insistent that I started to look at the basic science research, started to attend conferences, and within a year completely dedicated my professional life to understanding this cannabinoid system that at that point was quite simplistic. The complexity exploded in the next 10 years, and fortunately I was just there and got onto the rapid evolution of this information and knowledge. And the farther we go down that path, the more I back away from trying to understand this plant one molecule at a time. And I'm willing to say there's a synergy in this plant that exceeds what we can understand. I mean, all that I know about cannabis is that I don't think I'm going to live long enough to kind of feel that we really even have a clear picture of its complexity and its potential benefit for the prevention of disease. So one of the pretty critical presentations last year in Italy was regarding the antigen presenting cell. commonly known as the dendritic cell because it looks like a tree, but the name antigen presenting captures its function, and its role is to, as a macrophage, is to ingest a substance, a cell or a foreign body, and then process that antigenic marker for that object, and then it migrates to the nearest lymph node and presents that information to the lymph node, which then mounts an immune response.
Wow.
And we know that this, the immature macrophage that's awaiting the ingestion of the material, the maturation process is mediated by the cannabinoid system. And so if you have a system that can be enhanced with exogenous cannabinoids, it's quite possible that that process can become more effective, and you have a way of explaining how cannabis is effective in cancers, because we know that the only reason a tumor is allowed to exist is because the immune system thinks it's normal. But the that presenting the antigenic material is a decision that I believe can be enhanced and helps to capture at least a speculation as to how cannabis can shift the decision to no longer allow a cancer to exist in the body, because once the body mounts that response, it migrates over, ruptures the nuclear membrane of the cell with that antigenic marker. That cell is dead, and then it's evacuated and removed, and the tumor cell by cell is removed by the immune system. So we're looking at a system that is normally very, very effective. I've heard up to 1 million times a day this system identifies and removes proliferations, which are just benign growths, as well as abnormal dysplastic growths or a cancerous growth. And so that decision to remove is a pretty key point in the whole process. And if exogenous cannabinoids can enhance the maturation, if not enhance the function of those cells in making the decision, it can change its perspective on a tumor cell and suddenly decide that, wow, this stuff's all over the place, there's metastasis here and there, but wherever it is, we need to remove it. And the immune system is more than capable of going out, destroying and removing cells that have that surface marker wherever it finds them. And so you see these cases where someone has had a large space-occupying lesion, and suddenly it just gets lighter and lighter and disappears. That's the process by which the immune system, which is the best way to approach a tumor, rather than using a chemotherapeutic agent that is targeted to kill cells that are dividing, and then the side effects are if the intestine is dividing, those are killed, and you have real GI upsets, and hair is dividing real quickly, so those are killed, and you lose your hair. So they're indiscriminate in their actions, where the immune system targets. You could liken the antigenic markers of a cell to an address, and so a very specific sequence that's unique to that cell, and the immune system, once it's activated, will any structure that has those numbers on it, it will destroy and remove them. So you have a very focused, very specific reaction that results in the tumor being eliminated without all the side effects associated with kind of indiscriminate chemotherapies and radiations that and it will damage whatever cell they strike. I mean, you try to limit the radiation to the tumor, but you end up hitting cells in front of and beside and back of, and so you have a lot of side effects with a lot of the traditional anti-tumor medical procedures. You know, we like business, we like interventions, we like convenience, we want shelf life stability, we want to put it in a little bottle and make a bunch of money and make a name and write a paper. You know, it's just stupid human things, you know, and here's a plant. You pick it off and you put it in a wound and you heal quickly. I've had people that put it on swollen knees overnight and the effusion was gone. Right. And when you put it in your mouth and use it the way every other animal uses this plant, miracles happen. And yet we can't accept that miracle. We gotta make shatter and crystal and wax and extracts and possibly we could be doing something for some situations, but for the vast majority, we're talking 70 trillion cells and the disease that rises therefrom. When you're willing to take this plant in and just kind of use it as food, that food is your medicine, and you don't need medicine if you're willing to accept it as food.
See how easy that is?
Yeah, it's amazing what a little lemon juice does. Lime juice also is good. Any of the citrus, the clementines.
Let's see what you got for me.
Yeah.
Tastes like I'm modulating my immune system.
Nice. And it really goes well with sushi as well when you're doing, carrots and jicama and a sushi roll. A little bit of cannabis goes a long way. That lemon.
The lemon really does a lot.
It does a lot. And the lime actually macerates it a little more, so the lime actually softens it a little bit.
So you can see this is just the plain leaf with lemon juice. And I'm going to see how my palate adjusts to this. That's actually good. It might seem intimidating, but it's as easy as this. Just pick it up and eat it. A little lemon really goes a long way.
It'll change the shape of the face of healthcare. It will allow people the right to health during their life and to the restoration of health if something happens and there's an issue, if there's surgery, trauma. I mean, it's known that these cannabinoids stabilize the cells that have been injured by the hypoxia that occurs when you cut through flesh. You cut through flesh, you cut off blood supply, and cells have been exposed to a hypoxic environment, and they now are injured. And with traditional healing, a lot of them go on to die, and then you have to rebuild them from the ground up. So it takes a certain period of time with that approach. And if these cannabinoids are in your food, they're very potent antioxidants, and they allow the injured cell to survive the ischemic insult, and allows the healing to be so much quicker because of the proximity of healthy tissue. And the restoration that you felt in your healing was because you're allowing the injured tissue to recover rather than forcing them to go on, die, and then have to rebuild from that much of a bigger deficit. So, we got to preserve cannabis as food. I mean, we have to reserve the right to grow it. We have to because you want to be able to go out in your backyard, pick some romaine lettuce and some arugula, and pick some basil and pick some cannabis, and put it into your diet, which is a leafy green vegetable that treats the infections in the mouth and then the diseases of the body, and provides colonic health in the meantime as it deals with inflammation, peristalsis, all the issues that are involved in digestion and absorption. Consuming this plant as food helps the brain and the heart and the soul to be more effective, and it really is very potent the way it is in the environment, and we just have to stop trying to make business out of it and be thankful for it.
I looked across the room at a party.
Well, here we are, day one of cleaning up the healing center. Oh my God, we've been trying to get this for years. Look at this. Look what we got. I just found out that one of the doctors that we were majorly working with down in Mexico may have possibly been murdered. There's a total of like 27 of us that were working together. In the past 65 days, 14 of the 27 have been murdered. I'm not a coroner, I'm not a forensic scientist, but it wouldn't make sense that suddenly, all of a sudden, all of these alternative care doctors that are all working together would just suddenly start dying off of heart attacks. Although a couple of them were shot in the head, murdered in their homes. 5 of them, the bodies have never been found.
Hey, good sir.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm up down this lane up in your direction here.
Did you hear that Dr. Gonzalez may have possibly gotten murdered in Mexico?
Yeah, I knew the day it happened actually. But there's because we're watching this closely, we know these guys really well. But it's mostly linked to pharmaceutical profits. They used to take one out at a time. Now they're taking whole series of doctors and scientists out.
Right.
Because these are the ones that can provide the testimony in a serious lawsuit. They're looking ahead at how they would defend themselves. And these guys know their shit. They know their science. They know their medicine. They've done their research. Like a lot of doctors are scared right now. Even my kids are scared for me. They said, "Pop, you're like really out there and you're making these speeches about it and everything."
Yep.
Kind of scared for me. But I don't think I'm that. I'm not like in the position these guys are. I don't have all this evidence on research.
Oh, cool, man. It's my backpack.
Ninja Turtle.
Pretty small. It's not really made for me, is it?
It's a neck pack.
Up.
Oh my god, the whole bottom.
Guten Morgen, Briefgeber.
Nee, ik
In Frankrijk kan ik scannen, maar kan ik zien niet. In Frankrijk hoeft het.
This is the most important documentary I've ever worked on. Heal the planet. So thank you, Chris. Thank you for bringing me aboard.
I want a shot now too.
My name's Christopher Robin. I'm not a doctor as far as being a doctor in the eyes of the AMA. I'm out here alone. I'm the first person to inject marijuana oil directly into a tumor body. Ooh, that long, long, lonely road. I'm out here alone. On that red.
The way you responded to me on the phone, and you come out of your way, and you're giving away this medicine, and you're really concerned about the lives of other people. It makes you a light, a son of light. You know, I'm so glad to be near you. Thank you so much for bringing light to my life.
Cried my tears of pain and long time misery. This may be a movie that we're making, but this is 100% real. There are no actors. What happened to the years long gone when the doctor, he'd be coming down the road to your home?
It's a transnational corporate is controlling.
And there weren't no medical schools. There weren't no hospitals.
They would either give me chemo or radiation or cut everything out.
With his doctrine, he'd do. Ho, 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 ho.